Up, guys, this is DC with Ace of Credit Restoration, the Credit Bandit. Listen, I just want to take a couple minutes and tell you about this scam that's out here. Hopefully, nobody's getting caught with this thing, but you should know about it. So, you ever had a bill collector call your house, call your cell phone, and say, "Hey, you owe a bill"? And they try to get real rough and gruff with you on the phone, try to put you into some type of pressure situation that makes you want to give up that ever so protected social security number, driver's license number, address, birth date, checking account information, debit card information, and they tell you, "Oh, well, we're going to send police to your job and come and arrest you." Or you have some court documents that are pending to be filed in your local county sheriff's office and your local court district, and we're going to file a lawsuit against you unless you take immediate action right now. And they try to put you in this pressure situation to get you to give them some money. And they tell you that you have some debt from, some years ago that's never been paid off, either a payday loan, a cash advance, or something like that. Or it could be a charge account that was either charged off on your credit that you haven't taken care of yet. Well, the rub is this. You can't go to jail for owing a debt. There's no debtor's jail. That's been done with a long time ago. So nobody can send the police to your job because you neglected to pay your credit card, or you took a payday loan, cash advance, and you didn't pay it off. Nobody's going to come to arrest you. And on top of that, if it was a real law office that was going to file a suit against you, then they wouldn't be calling you and harassing you. They would send you a summons in the mail, and you will have effectively have been served, and you will have a court date, and you would have to follow that summons, or you could have a bench warrant issued out for your arrest. That's the cold hard facts there, guys. Don't give your credit card information, don't give your bank account information out, because it's all a scam. What they end up doing is they end up buying your debt from one of those collection recovery agencies. So you have a bill collector and they're trying to get their money and they can't. And all of their, whatever they tried to do to get in contact with you has failed. So the only recourse they have is to charge off that debt on your credit, which gives you bad credit for a very, very long time, and then to sell that debt for pennies on a dollar so they can recover anything. And that's why you have companies out here called recovery services. It's not recovery for you, it's recovery for the corporate. They're doing B2B, business to business. So you're the end person that has to cough up the bucks. So they sell that debt for a couple pennies on the dollar, and they basically take what they can get. Then that information gets transferred. So the recovery company has a right to get that information because they just purchased that debt. It gets transferred. Well, what they turn around and do is they have smaller subsidiaries of those companies in a big holding company, smaller LLCs, and they give them different names and different phone numbers, and basically they're a bunch of shell companies. But what they do is they bounce that information back and forth from one company to the next, and then so you get all these different calls, and they're trying to collect on the same debt. It's just that you have one company with one name and another company with another name, and you don't know which one is which, so you end up giving your information out a bunch of different times, and they end up putting you through this ringer a bunch of different times and collecting a bunch of money from you, and it's really illegal. Most people don't know about this thing, but you can have your creditors stop calling you. It's called harassment. And they're not supposed to call you after certain times of the day. They're only supposed to be able to make business calls during business hours, unless you otherwise specify. They're not supposed to be able to call your job. If you call them and tell them, listen, you cannot call my job, they're not supposed to. Or you can sue those people for settlements because they are breaking the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And so the people that say, oh, we owe you a debt, you owe a debt, we're going to collect that debt, they usually end up telling you, well, we'll send your paperwork to you in the mail. We have an automated system that'll automatically send your settlement agreement in the mail. But it never comes. It never comes because the debt is not legit. So they don't really legally want to have their name on any paperwork with signatures. So they collect that debt and then they turn around and sell that information or transfer that information to either one of their other subsidiaries or another company. And so they end up trying to collect that debt several times on you. It's not right, it's not fair, but the bottom line is this. If you got bad credit, that doesn't mean that you're out. A lot of times people think, oh, well, my credit is low, so obviously nobody's going to try to scam me or try to get anything under my credit like identity theft because I don't have the credit scores to buy anything. It's just not true. If you got bad credit, you're more at risk to these types of scams because they know that they can pressure you. They know that they can hit those certain buttons that'll make you say, uh-oh, I need to act now. And because you don't have the credit or the money for resources to go hire attorneys, they know that you're basically just sitting ducks. So that's the scam for today. Like I said, this is DC with Credit Restoration, the Credit Bandit. Get your credit right, man.